Hello and welcome to the World Tapping Circle and the 10,000 Tapping Worldwide Global Synchronized event. I am so thrilled to be with you. This is amazing to have so many people who are understanding that the better we take care of ourselves, the better we affect the people around us, and the more beautifully we align with creating a more happy and healthy world. So remembering again that taking care of me is taking care of we. So that's the theme for tonight in this beautiful circle, is dealing with the energy and emotion around taking care of other people. I see all these people, just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people piling into the chat. It's amazing. So I'm going to give a few shout outs as I often do, and then we will continue on. Hello to Noreen in Australia. Anna Reed, I see you in Montana. Lois G, I see you. Hello from Anakin in Austin, Texas. I see Ruth in Mobile, Alabama. Denise in San Diego. Let's see, it's just coming in so quickly. I'm trying to keep up here. Gregory V in Eureka, California. Mandy in Pittsburgh. And people are giving me the weather reports from all the different places that they're coming in from. All right, hello. Beautiful. Let us know in the chat if you can see and hear. I think you can. If you ever have issues, just refresh your browser and log back in. The internet is different in different parts of the world, but we know on our end we're broadcasting and it's working over here. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Can you see me? Yes? Great. So this tapping circle is one that's very near and dear to my heart. I'm a mother. I'm a teacher. I'm somebody who loves to nurture and help the world and help people. And most of you who are watching this tap have some sort of altruistic heart where you're either in a job that requires you to take care of other people, or you have a role perhaps as a mother or a father or somebody in the helping healing profession, medical professionals, nurses, doctors, massage therapists, all of us who really care about other people. And the problem is that sometimes we forget to take care of ourselves along the way. And that can work temporarily. We can blast on through and get less sleep and, not take such great care of ourselves because we might have people who are in dire need. However, for a long-term strategy, that creates a lot of suffering, a lot of pent-up resentment, and can lead to physical health challenges where your body just breaks down and says, look, I need a break, and if you're not going to give me a break, then I'm going to break so that you give me a break. So if you can relate to that feeling of frustration and maybe even guilt where we feel like we can never do enough because the need is endless. If you're working in a hospital or you're working with a world that is suffering, it might feel like no matter what you do is just a drop in the ocean. However, you are extremely important to the people who are relying on you, important to the animals that you're taking care of, important to the communities that you're helping to create, and we need you in good condition to be able to do that. So this tap is especially to help you stay strong and steady yourself, and also to have a place to take good care of yourself. And emotional intelligence is really becoming a thing now. People are understanding it's not just the intellect. It's not just like hammering away at things. We actually need time to rest, recover, rejuvenate, honor what's going on in our hearts, honor what's going on when we check in with our own lives and see what changes we might need to make. And we actually need to have fun. Yeah, we need to play to restore our balance and switch brain function. So if you are used to plowing through and working really hard, you actually need an activity, singing, dancing, playing, getting a massage, making love, taking time in nature, tapping. All of these things will bring up your oxytocin levels and switch your brain function so that that side of your brain that is so linear can get back to work and feel recharged and refreshed. All right, so what we're going to do now is jump into the core causes questions. But before we do that, I just want to say, I want you to know that I've been tapping for 15 years. I've been training people all over the world. And some of you might be motivated after you're doing this work with me to say, you know what, I want to put this in my toolkit. So I want you to know that I train practitioners once or twice a year. And you can find that information on my website, sonyasophia.us, and that's on the email that we send out after this, the replay email, which talks about sharing and how to encourage more people to process their feelings and join the movement, the self-evolution revolution that we're creating on this planet. Somebody was asking in the chat yesterday how many people we have tapping with us. It's pushing 4,000 who are signed up, so we know for sure that they're getting these videos and doing them, and we're watching the stats of the replay videos. People are watching them, and we see that you're here as well. And we're also streaming live on Facebook, and this is super exciting. So if you're somebody who wants to help your community, one easy thing you can do right now is jump over to the World Tapping Circle Facebook page, and you can share the live stream of the session we're about to do with your people from your page. So for people who are networkers, people who want to help humanity and want to push this wave further out and help us hit the 10,000 mark by the end of the week, that is an awesome way to increase well-being in your own community and share your experience. People that tap together tend to really trust and love each other because it creates a lot of honesty, authenticity, vulnerability, and transparency. And in a world that isn't used to that, it's very refreshing to have that level of openness, at least with yourself, and maybe for those having tapping parties, even with other people. All right, so a little bit about this site so that you can understand. Each day we're making little updates and upgrading. If you look in the chat section above the chat, you'll see a word that says handouts. In our handouts section, you will see, I'm looking here at my notes, what to expect while tapping, emotional support resources if you need that. And now we have short facts videos to help answer commonly asked questions that we uploaded for you today. In case you get confused at any point, you can check in there and see if you have an answer. You'll also find tech support, commonly asked questions, so that you can solidify your experience here. Also want to remind you that the video library is included. If this is your first session, you are still going to get the other 3 sessions that we've done already. And I love it when you share. So this is an act of love. We want you to use it as an act of love and support and fortify the people that you love. So even after these videos are done and this whole week is over, you'll still have that video library as a resource, and you can share that link when you're thinking about somebody who needs some of this love or one of these sessions or all of these sessions. Feel free to share that freely with them and encourage them to do it and help them process so that they know that they're tools for the times at hand. All right, so now we're going to jump into the core causes questions. These are questions that over 30 years of being a healer, I have learned to ask myself to help me get to the bottom of things so that I don't have to spend all my time processing emotional pain, and I can cut to the chase, move patterns out of my nervous system, and get back to doing the more beautiful, fun things that I want to be doing with my time. So these questions are a quick 5 minutes to help you get down to the core causes of what's been going on for you. And as if you're doing these sessions one after the other, you might find that a lot of your issues are linked to some very early formative experiences. And each tapping session is going to approach them from a different angle. And eventually those different aspects of your formative years will finish processing out of your nervous system, leave you alone, and you will rewire yourself with the conscious decisions that you're making now about who you are, where you're going, and how you want to feel. And it's a beautiful, beautiful process. So hang in there for those 5 minutes and go inside. Get as many answers as you can. Don't feel like you have to answer everything. And then we're going to start moving all of this material that you've brought up from your subconscious mind out of your body with the EFT. See you guys in 5. All right. That was intense, huh? Asking yourself all those questions. Thanks for sticking around and doing that deep dive. Now we're going to do some tapping on those answers. So, just reminding you quickly that EFT is a natural self-healing technique, that the empathy and the compassion you're giving yourself is actually doing the heavy lifting, and all we're doing is acknowledging and giving understanding and giving a voice to our actual experience. So we're going to be saying a lot of things that are maybe things you don't usually say. And you're going to tap on your body while you acknowledge that reality. And as you do that, it's going to open up the file folder in your memory banks, in your nervous system. And the neural network containing that memory, that fear, that projection of the future is going to get some extra energy. Those neural networks are going to come apart, they're going to heal, and then you're going to rewire your brain back together. Pretty cool, huh? Here we go. Repeating after me, remembering that you can edit these words as needed to more perfectly fit your own situation. So find your collarbone, drop down 5 or 6 inches to the front of your chest, and press around until you feel kind of a sore spot. For women, it might be in your upper breast tissue. For men, it'll be in your upper pectoral region. So big, deep breath, pressing around until you find that sore spot. Give yourself a deep breath and sigh. Big breath again. And sigh. Here we go. Repeating after me. Even though part of me feels stressed, I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tuning in about the stress regarding your specific situation. Tapping the eyebrows. I feel stressed. Tapping the temples. Part of me feels numb about this stress. Tune in and see if you tune out the stress to keep on going, or the stress has been there for so long that you can't even feel anything anymore. Tapping the cheeks. I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even if I had to shut down to deal with this constant stress. And breathe. Tapping under the nose. I accept the part of me that's used to living in this chronic stress. Tapping under the lips. This feeling of chronic stress. Tapping the chest. I am so busy. What are you busy doing, taking care of? This is 30 seconds where you get to say all the things that you're so busy doing. I'm chasing the kids. I'm feeding the dog. I'm doing all the things. Go ahead and say all of those things, tapping the chest and breathing. Keep talking. 10 more seconds. Big deep breath, letting your body process all of this old stress in the nervous system, tapping down to the front of the ribs, bottom of the rib cage. So put your hands down the front of your body and feel the bottom of your rib cage. You'll feel where your bones stick out the most in front, and tap there. I accept the part of me that feels frantic, busy, and overwhelmed. Tapping the side of the rib cage, nipple height, side seam of the body. You can cross your arms and tap like this, or you can tap with the back of your knuckles like this, but you're going to do both sides at the same time. Big deep breath. Tuning into that level of stress from keeping yourself so busy taking care of everybody else. Tapping the inside of the wrist. It seems like there's never any time left for me. Let's say that one again. It seems like there's never any time left for me. Big, deep breath. Tapping the side of the thumb. I love and accept myself, even if a part of me is struggling with self-care. Tapping the index finger. I wasn't taught to prioritize my own needs. I felt you there. Let's say that one again. I was not taught to prioritize my own needs. Tapping the middle finger. I was taught to ignore my feelings. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I was taught to ignore my body. What? Yes. Tap the little finger. I was taught to keep on keeping on. Tapping the side of the hand. Remembering that off-gassing stored stress from the nervous system is something that the body does in the form of yawning, which you might see Magnus here on the screen, my beautiful tech angel. Yawning, he's processing along with us. Burping, laughing, crying, waves of energy, tingles throughout the body, sudden realizations, big waves of emotion. That's a normal part of tapping, and all I want you to do is keep breathing and tapping and repeating as much as you can. If it gets to be too much, I want you to stop repeating it and just breathe as you tap so that your body can catch up with where you're actually at. Okay? Continuing on. Tapping the top of the head. I was taught to ignore my feelings. Tapping the sides of the head and the back of the head. My needs. Tap the eyebrows. To not ask for help. Tap the temples. To do it all alone. Tapping the cheeks. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping under the nose. Even though I was taught to do everything alone. Tapping under the lips. To not ask for help. Tap the chest. Because acknowledging my need for help or support is a sign of weakness. You know, I had that for a really long time, so I have a lot of compassion for you. But what I found out is that if I really want to make a big difference, I need to take much better care of myself and have solid, loving, supportive, helpful people around me to love me, to talk to me, and to give me good ideas and to give me feedback so that I can keep growing. And to, you know, I just want to say that none of us are meant to do any of this alone. We're not meant to be isolated units working alone all the time. We're meant to have connection and support and to actually enjoy the process of doing our work. So tapping the front of the ribs. I'm releasing the fear of acknowledging my needs. Tap the side of the ribs, my feelings. Tapping the inside of the wrist, including needs of help and support that I've been afraid to say. Tapping the side of the thumb. I'm open to loving and respecting myself. Tap the index finger. I'm giving myself the possibility of releasing this pattern. Tap the middle finger. This pattern of feeling overwhelmed. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger and breathing. Tapping the little finger, this pattern of feeling stressed. Tap the side of the hand, this pattern of feeling guilty that I can't get everything done all the time. Right? If you're working with other people, you're going to find that there's always ways that you could be doing better, more things that they could need, things that come up. Tapping the top of the head. I love and support myself. Tapping the side of the ribs by taking time for me. Taking time to rest. Tapping the eyebrows, taking time to enjoy myself. Tapping the temples. Taking time to play. Tapping the cheeks. I'm learning how to take care of my emotional body. Tapping under the nose along with my physical body. So your mental body would be your mind, your emotional body is your feelings, and your physical body, of course, is your physical body. And each one of those parts are really important. Tapping the chest. I'm open to the possibility of releasing this unhappiness, tuning in, and as much as you may love those people or those animals that you're taking care of, it's possible that you're also grumpy. I love and accept myself, even if I feel grumpy or unhappy with some of this work. It's not easy. Taking care of sick people, taking care of the elderly, taking care of children, taking care of managing a huge team of people. It's a lot of work. Tap the front of the ribs. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Even if part of me feels unhappy sometimes. Tap the side of the ribs. What's the part that's the hardest for you about doing that job? Is it people complaining? Is it that you're underfunded? Tap the inside of the wrist. Is it that you don't feel acknowledged? Tap this side of the thumb. I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even though the part that's the most difficult for me is, and then say again what you think is bothering you here. Tapping the index finger. I accept this part doesn't make me happy. Tap the middle finger. I accept this part makes me feel kind of resentful sometimes. Do you find yourself feeling resentful or burdened or irritated or frustrated? Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I love and respect myself, even if I continue to feel burdened, irritated, frustrated, or resentful. Tapping the little finger and breathing. I'm open to releasing this toxic stress from my body. Tuning into where you feel like you're storing that stress in your body. Do you feel it in your stomach, in your head, in your neck, in your feet? Where do you feel it? In your shoulders? Tapping the side of the hand. It's safe for me to release this old toxic stress from my body that I've been storing. And say where you think you've been storing it. Where is it affecting you? And tapping the top of the head and breathing. I give myself permission to release this accumulated stress. And I want to remind you, if English is not your first language, see if you can translate what I'm saying into your first language so that it goes deeper. Tapping the eyebrows. I accept the part of me, tapping the temples, that's used to hiding my stress in my body. Tapping the cheeks, saving it for later, when I'm not too busy to deal with it. Right? So sometimes we say, I'll deal with this later, but later never comes. Tapping under the lips. And the way we deal with it later might be through distractions, addictions, keeping ourselves busy with the drama going on around us of other people's feelings and fears and needs, that we don't close the door or leave the house. I'm giving myself permission to take regular breaks to restore myself. So what are some things that you know restore you? Tapping might be one of those things, but what else is there? Maybe you like to go on long walks. You like to swim. Maybe you'd like to go check out the local ecstatic dance. There's some really beautiful people dancing in all the major cities around the world. Yoga, meditation, camping, hiking, massages. What would it be like if you took an hour a week to give something like that to yourself? I'll tell you that when I was a busy, overwhelmed, stressed out single mom, that the people that gave me a little bit of extra support and love, the people who said I could come to their yoga class for free, really helped me. My local dance really helped me. And that's why I'm paying this forward to you. I know that if I can get you to take an hour a week, you're going to have a much easier time. And you're going to do a better job with that beautiful heart of yours. Tapping the front of the ribs, I'm giving myself permission to schedule this time for myself. What would it be like if you said, okay, on this one day a week, this 1 hour or these 3 hours are mine. Or after 6 or 7 p.m., mine. I don't do emails. I don't do business. I don't do anything outside of what is restorative for me. A long hot bath. Tapping the inside of the wrist. I'm giving myself the possibility of taking better care of me so I can take better care of them. Tapping the side of the thumb. Do you think that the people that you're taking care of would learn from your example how to maybe better take care of themselves? What's the best way to help people? How about teaching them how to help themselves through your own example? Tapping the index finger, including setting some healthy boundaries. You know, sometimes those of us in the helping, healing roles feel like the world's going to die without our constant correction, our constant input. But really, the world's going to keep on keeping on with or without us. And if we really want to improve things, we're going to show the world what humanity looks like when we all learn to respect ourselves and take better care and balance our lives. All right? Our world is out of balance because the people in our world have been driven out of balance, and we're rebalancing the system by rebalancing the people. Remember, people make the planet, and happy, healthy people do not create a toxic, unhappy world. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm giving myself compassion for how long I've been doing this to myself. Tuning in again to where you've burnt out, overworked, or not set healthy boundaries. Thinking that it would be rude, thinking that you might get in trouble, thinking that you're going to feel too guilty to say, not here, but here to someone. Remember that saying no sometimes is a super big yes to something else. And tap your little finger. I give myself permission to have the conversations I need to have. Tap the side of the hand with myself and with the people I'm supporting and taking care of, so that we can work together. Tap the top of the head. And I can lead by example so that we can all take better care of ourselves together. Hey, yeah, that sounds fun, right? That's a great idea. Let's do it. Tap the eyebrows. I love and respect myself. And if that's too hard to say, I'm learning to love and respect myself. Tapping the cheeks, even if this is a baby step. Tapping under the nose. I give myself permission. Tapping under the lips to baby step myself through this process. Tapping the chest. This baby step. Learning to acknowledge my feelings. And breathe. Tapping the front of the ribs. So what is a limiting belief that you have about this work that you're doing that involves taking care of other people? Do you believe that people, if you don't do it, no one's going to do it, or that they're not going to do it right, or that it's going to take too long, or that there's no other possible way than you doing all of these things all the time? Tap the side of the ribs. Speak that limiting belief. Maybe it's true, but maybe it's also something you picked up from your culture, from your childhood, from your parents. Tap the inside of the wrist. Say that limiting thought again. Ask yourself, when did I start believing this? Say it 3 times. When did I start believing that? When did I start believing that? When did I start believing that? Tap the side of the thumb. What's the answer? Say that answer out loud. Started believing this when I was a child and I had to take care of my mother. Or I started believing this because I saw the way my mother treated my father and she had to do everything for him. Tap the index finger. I love and respect myself. Even if I've unnecessarily burdened myself, overextended. Tap the middle finger. I like to help people. I like to do a good job. I like to take care of things. It feels good to serve. It does, right? Tap the bottom of the fourth finger, which is why we need self-care to go the distance. Because if you're too burnt out to celebrate and enjoy all of that, to enjoy this beautiful family that you've created, but now you're too tired to enjoy your children, or you've missed out on the opportunity to raise your kids because you're always working and they grow up without a parent who knows them, tap the side of the little finger. I give myself permission to bring balance and new structure into my life. Tap the side of the hand, releasing this old habit and pattern that I picked up from, and then say where you think this whole thing started. And maybe there's a memory involved in this. Do you remember someone doing the same thing when you were young? Or thinking the same thought, acting the same way? Tapping the top of the head and breathing. Yes, I remember, and then say what you remember. Was it your mother who was so driven, or your father? Or maybe you had to fend for yourself, and this just became a huge habit? Tapping the eyebrows. I love and accept myself, tapping the temples. And I'm learning to do things in a new way so that I can have the greatest impact, tapping the cheeks, so that I can help the most people while still maintaining my peace, tapping under the nose, my joy, tapping under the lips, my creativity, tapping the chest, and my open heart. Because more than anything, believe it or not, the people and the animals, even the plants that you are taking care of, need to feel your love. And if you're feeling burnt out, numb, or stressed, they're not feeling your love. They're feeling your fear, frustration, and exhaustion, and imagining that it's their fault. Tap the front of the ribs. I forgive myself for allowing things to get out of hand. Tap the side of the ribs. For not seeing a role model in my own childhood of people living in a more balanced way. Tapping the inside of the wrist, I give myself permission to heal that old family pattern. So take 10 seconds and discuss that family pattern. For example, I saw my dad work himself into an early grave. Tap the side of the thumb. What did you see happening? Tapping the index finger. And how did that affect you or the family? Tapping the middle finger, big deep breath. Okay, lots of you are getting it, huh? Does that sound familiar? Is it possible that this same pattern that's running through you started back then and maybe even earlier generations? And we're not blaming them. They had to do what they had to do. But we don't have to keep doing it the way they did it. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm giving myself permission to still have strength, to still do all the things I need to do, while taking time to rest, to get off of social media, to get off of computers, to get off of the phone, to go outside, to remember who I am. Tap the little finger to relax in the sunshine, to enjoy companionship and friendship, cuddling and playing and resting. Tap this side of the hand. I give myself this time so that I can achieve even greater goals, to serve and support the people in my world. Right? Tapping the chest. So normally I take Sundays off. This is something I do for myself. I go dance, I have lunch with friends, I take a nap, I take a long bath, I sit outside, and I have at least that day to recharge myself. Sometimes more. I try to take 2 days a week if I can. Tapping the top of the head. What would you like to hear yourself commit to right now that might really help you? That seems doable. It may feel hard because you're not used to it, but what would you love to be able to do? Maybe it's getting up an hour earlier and having that private time before other people are awake. That's a beautiful time when the world is asleep for you to have this beautiful time to meditate, to journal, to go inside, to put on your favorite music, put on earphones, do whatever you need to do, to draw, paint. Tapping the eyebrows. I give myself permission to find the time, tap the temples, to take care of myself. Tapping the cheeks, leading by example. Tapping under the nose so that I can show up. Tapping under the lips with a full cup to serve others. Tapping the chest so that I can show up with a full cup to serve others, not an empty cup. So let me give you this example. If you were hiking with friends and you brought some water and nobody else did, and you were all hot and thirsty, and you open up your canteen and you give it to your 5 friends before you take a sip, what are you thinking the whole time they're all drinking from your canteen? Save some for me. Don't take it all. Ooh, you're suffering, you're waiting, you're wondering, you might even be resenting them for giving them the very thing that you wanted them to have. But what if you take that canteen, you open it, you take a big gulp and you say, oh, this is so good, and you hand it to your friends. What are you thinking while they're drinking? You're thinking, I'm so glad I brought that for you. I know exactly how nice and cold and delicious it is. Take as much as you want. So you're coming from this place of generosity instead of lack. Tapping the front of the ribs. I'm giving myself permission to drink from my own cup first. Tap the side of the ribs, even if it feels selfish, even if it's a new thing for me to do. Tap the inside of the wrist to take care of me so I can take better care of you. Tapping the side of the thumb to take care of me so I can take better care of you. Tapping the index finger. I'm allowing myself to grow and evolve past the way it was done in the past. This helps me feel better, be better, and do better. Tapping the bottom of the 4th finger. So let's tune in again to the issue that you're working with and see where it is now. So everyone just drop to the center of the chest, and I asked you at the beginning of the session, during the core causes questions, to evaluate the emotional intensity of your issue on a scale from 1 to 10. And maybe you gave it a number, maybe you can just feel it in your body changing. But ask yourself how much stress or emotional intensity is still there. And put that in the chat if you're live with us. What numbers are there? It was a 10, now it's and just put like a 10-2 or whatever it is truthfully for you so that I can coach you through what to do. Danielle says 0. Celeste has moved down 3 points from a 10 to an 8. Gregory V says, that is Burning Man wisdom, the canteen water story, right? I know. I have been teaching there for many, many years. Diane says it's down to a 2 from a 10. Gregory says he's 50% down. Robin says an 8 to a 5. Yolanda, a 10 to a 5. Elizabeth, a 9 to a 6. Man, it's flying in, so don't feel sad. Anakin, an 8 to a 3. Sharon, a 9 to a 3. Jill, a 5 to a 0. Elena K, a 6 to a 3. So others are saying, I feel lighter. So if you don't have numbers, what would you use to describe your experience right now? So Linnea H says, I don't think it's less, but it's moved from the depths up to the throat, like emotions want to come out and be released. So I want to remind you that everybody processes at a different rate, especially if you're new to processing deep feelings. It may move a little slower at first because it's such an intense experience. And once you get used to processing, it's going to get easier and faster. And then again, some people just process like this. So we're going to keep tapping for a couple more minutes before we wrap this up, but I'm happy to see so much improvement. Barbara's saying a 7 to a 4 and a lot of yawning, which is very normal. That's how your body is off-gassing this stored stress. So here we go. We're going to tap just to wrap this up. Even though I still feel, and then say out loud how you still feel. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the eyebrows. It's okay that I still feel this way. Just be okay with it for now. Tapping the temples. I don't know if tapping on my face is going to change all of this. Tapping the cheeks. But I'm open-minded enough to try this. Tapping under the nose, this remaining, and then say what it is for you. Maybe it's numbness, maybe it's fear, maybe it's trapped emotions in my throat. Describe what's still remaining there for you. This remaining, and then say what that is. Tapping the chest. This remaining, say it again, and tune into what's still there while you're saying it. And breathe. Tapping the front of the ribs, I give myself permission to release this from my body. Tapping the side of the ribs, from my mind. Tapping the inside of the wrist, and from my memory, from my heart, my past. Tapping the side of the thumb. I'm learning new ways to do things. Tap the side of the thumb. And I forgive myself for all the pain I've put myself through. By doing what? By trying to make others happy and forgetting about my own happiness? By never learning how to say no here but yes here? Tap the middle finger. I give myself permission to grow and evolve in this part of my life so that I can feel happy and lead by example what a balanced life looks like. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. Taking time for me gives me more energy and presence. Tap the little finger. Taking time for me allows me to show up more fully. Tap the side of the hand. I love and respect myself, and I give myself permission to have better self-care so that I don't end up blaming or attacking or shutting down. Tap the top of the head. I'm allowing myself to continue to process and discover. Tapping the eyebrows, allowing this to be simple. Tap the temples. Tapping the cheeks, allowing this to be normal for me. What would that be like for you to make these little adjustments to create a new normal for yourself? So let's just take a couple of minutes to tune into what that feels like now that you have much more space inside you. So tapping your chest and imagining yourself moving at a pace that works better for you. You have a little bit of time each day for these different things. You draw a golden circle around your private quiet time. How does it feel in your body to imagine living that way? And having the courage to have the conversations and make new arrangements and agreements. Feels good. And how do you think the people in your life will respond to a happier you who's more clear in the way you're communicating about what you can and can't do and making agreements that actually work better for you? How do you think people will respond? Do you think they'll respond with more respect for you? Because you're respecting you more? I think they will. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Tapping all over the body. Congratulating yourself for making it through this entire experience. I know it's a lot, but there's a lot to do here, my dear, dear, dear family. And we have a beautiful world to rebuild. And that rebuilding is coming from inside of each of us. We are rebuilding this world from the inside out. So if the world works for us, then the world will work for the world. My goal is to get 10,000 people tapping, moving this movement forward, activating the Maharishi effect so that we are impressing this information that our people of this world are ready to change and move things in a better direction. We each take back our power, we each take back our voice, we each take back our peace, and we build a world around that. So please help me, help us, help we. Take your replay video, share that link of your video library with your friends. Commit to coming to the last few sessions of this. And I want to let you know that we are going to send anyone who decides to subscribe to the World Tapping Circle for our $1 trial offer. After watching this video, a 2-hour tapping session on the heart chakra from our Chakra Sweep series. So if you're interested in learning about how to clear out more things from your heart and to align with your heart and to, be able to love and give love and receive love in a better way, you're going to love that session. And it's actually a video, not an audio, but it's a video with the transcript. While you're still here with me, chime into the chat one more time. How are you feeling now after this tap? I would love to hear how this has affected you. And I want to thank those of you who have written us emails telling us how much this has changed your life. Our team read those this morning in our meeting, and it just made us feel so good. So thank you for your love, and thank you for your time, your beautiful, precious time. We are more powerful together. All right. Thank you again for chiming in the chat, letting us know how you're doing. And you know what? Before I sign off, I'm going to read some of it. Feeling good, calmer, thank you. Bless you all. I discovered I have a lot of feeling about things that I've ignored a long time, says Lois. Inspired, great, love and light. Thanks so much. Thank you, Sonya and team, and thank you everyone joining in tonight. This was so resonant. I love you all. Refreshing, good. After we close, I'm going to sit and read all of this chat. Annika says, I love you, Sonya. Thank you for your beautiful example and your beautiful soul. I feel so much love right now. And on that, I'm going to send you back into your world, and I will see you in the circle again tomorrow.